What have you seen from Amauri as far as growth from the beginning of the season till now?
Well, you know, he's a guy that had a lot of responsibility as a high school player and had to score the ball and was the guy that the other teams, you know, had to stop. And so it's been a transition for him to make the adjustment. And what I've seen is just continual buy-in and continual growth and understanding that his role has changed for this year. And hopefully he's the guy that everybody's trying to stop here before he leaves too. But, you know, it's a process, but to have a young kid who gets it, and then when he has a question, he gets in. When he in the office, he pays attention to film, you know, by getting in and doing that with coaches as well, and he gets up extra shots, and he's just one of those guys that's a true gym rat and a true student of the game. So it's good to see that from a young player.
When you see a freshman like that come in a game like Illinois, and have almost a calming influence on the team, what does that say about him, especially such a young player?
Well, because he has the confidence, because he's been there, he knows what it looks like, at least at a high school level, and to be a target. And so I think the confidence is built by how you roll and how you handle your business daily. And I think so it wasn't surprising to me, much like Brandon, you know. Guys that have a lot of high accolades in high school usually have seen some form of what would be pressure, but have had some experience handling it. So it wasn't too surprising because we see him performing in practice, and we see how he invests into his own development. So it's good to, you know, have it trickle over onto the floor, actually help the team win the game.
When you say development, I think a lot of people think of like year-to-year development, but how much development can Amauri, say, do from now to the end of this year? You know, what do you want to see from him from now?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, development is not long-term; it's daily, and so guys like Amauri, we're anticipating growing and as this year unfolds, and you know, not just Amauri, but all the guys. We want to be the best we could be towards the end of the year. Not just as a team, but individually. We want them all to grow and to get better, because collectively we will be a better team if all of them are getting better as the season unfolds. So he's just one of the cogs in the machine that we're hoping will make us a well-oiled machine when the season's gets to the conference finals and so forth.
The bench unit in general, are they where you want them to be now? What do you think?
I probably would like to have them a little bit further along, but I understand that with so many new guys and so many new faces that it was going to take a little time for us as a staff to understand who we had and how to play them together and what chemistry worked together, what lineups. We're learning as coaches who we have. You know, we'll be a lot further along next year, only losing the two seniors. You know, but right now it was something that we felt like, you know, we had to put our guys in a situation to be successful, and to do that, you know, it's a process. So there's the X and O part of it, but then there's also the development of them over the course of their time they're here. So the bench guys are, you know, the more reps they get in games, obviously that's real experience. So the better they'll be, and you know, we try to find them time when we can, and I'm hoping that there's games throughout the rest of the season and in the non-conference that provide us that opportunity to do that.
Do you feel like, in general, a team needs a really strong bench, or do you feel like if circumstances are right, you can sort of ride your starters and win?
It depends on the flow of the game, the pace of the game. You know, do you have guys in foul trouble? Do you have guys, you know, time and score? I just know that you're only as strong as your weakest link. So when you can go to the bench and you still have production from the bench, then it usually provides a better, you know, overall product. So we need our guys to be good when we get them in, and they need to just trust that we know what we're doing as a staff, and we'll play them accordingly. It's you know, it's about the team, you know, and so you have to, within that, you have to develop them individually, but at the same time, we play the game to win the game. So that's how we'll always coach it.
You talked at the MGM about how much you like Cheickna, and he embraces his role, and he does what you ask. How much management has to go into, you know, just managing the personalities of the bench guys like Amauri, who, you know, is used to doing everything now coming in?
You know, when you recruit character, that usually just takes care of itself. They're at every game, they're at every practice, they know what they need to work on, they engage in film with the coaches, they see what we see. So this is not like we're popping some surprise on them. You know, the turnovers and the miscues happen with starters as well as the guys on the bench. So a high character kid just trusts, you know, your leadership and your coaching, and he rolls with it and he continues to listen and follow and is a good soldier. And that's what we have. We've got some great guys on the bench that trust the staff.
When you look at next year with losing your 2 senior guards, how valuable is this experience for Amauri?
Well, game experience is great, but there's a lot more to development than actually playing in the games. It's a big piece of it because it's real experience, but there's also daily instruction. It's like, you know, being in a classroom. Yeah, you got to pass the test when the test comes, but how do you pass the test? Well, you pass I mean, you do what you're supposed to do in practice. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do in class every day. So his development for next year is really in how we approach every day, not just how much he plays.
What was your message to the team this week with the finishing up the non-conference going into the break?
Well, just continued development. You know, we've got games ahead that the coaches are already working on. You know, the Boise State game will obviously be a big one because it's our first game at home in conference. That's a really, really good team. But to finish out non-conference it's one of the components of the season where you break it up into different parts. So we want to finish strong. You know, we have an opportunity with 2 home games to close it out and have a pretty good non-conference standing. So our goal is to just approach it like it's the biggest game of the season. Mississippi Valley State University is, you know, we're going to try to do everything we can to prepare for it the right way as we would any other game, and approach it as it's a big game because it is, you know, and the next one is, you know, Northern Colorado as well. I think they're all great opportunities to grow your team and continue to grow your program. So you got to do the right things.
Do you think Pacific kind of got their attention a little bit?
Well, I think, you know, there was definitely things that occurred in that game that we could take and learn from. You know, at the end of the day, and you know my philosophy on that is, you want to get the lessons, but you want to get the lessons with a win. So we were able to do that, but there were a lot of lessons in that game, and you know, that team played well against us and kept fighting and kept battling, and you know, we went over and put closure to that game yesterday, and shifted our focus to MVSU today.
Mark, how much do you think you've learned since you've been here? I mean, since the season started, I should say.
I really think I learned a lot, more so from like the mental side than like physically. But I learned a lot really from just like watching. Learned a lot from the coaches, you know, the players, you know, the staff members, you know, even my teammates, you know, just how, you know, how to practice, you know, how to practice like a pro, how to like do things every day, like be an everyday guy and stuff like that. Really, I mean, I just learned a lot, and I'm just soaking in all the information.
Looked like the Illinois game, you came in and you almost had like a calming influence on the team. What was it? Were you just starting to feel more and more comfortable in your role in this level of basketball?
Yeah, I would say I was a bit more comfortable around that time. Definitely, you know, as the season goes on, I feel like I'm gonna get more and more comfortable, get more confident. But you know, in a game like that, you know, I was put in. You know, I just stepped up so I could help my team win, and really, that's it.
Does it take time to adjust to this role? Because I know in your high school team you did pretty much everything, and now here you're sort of picking your spots, and they've got you playing a more of a defined role. Does that take some time to fit your game into that and figure out what the coaches want from you?
Yeah. It took some time. You know, I talked to coaches about it. You know, and they understand. You know, the change for me. You know, you got a couple of seniors that have a couple of great guys on our team. So, you know, when I come in, I don't really like to go in, you know, look for mines necessarily. So, I just try to pick my shots. You know, attack when lanes are open and stuff like that. No, not really trying to do too much.
What have the coaches been, you know, coaching you on in terms of your game from, you know, the time you got here to now, in terms of like what do they want from you, what do they expect from you, how are they trying to mold your game?
More so I would say on the leadership side, just learning how to run the team. Just becoming, a point guard, like a college point guard, more so like, translating over to high school. So really, I think that's what they want the adjustment for me to be, just being able to lead, after 2 seniors leaving next year. So they want me to be able to, have that leadership role and be able to come in and do it.
What does Jordy and Joe just said to you? What kind of advice are they giving you?
They really just told me to, stick with it, keep my head up, don't try to get mentally faded or anything like that. Your time is gonna come. When you get in, play positive, stay happy and stuff like that. And that's what I'm doing.
Do you ever feel like there's a time, like when you're on the bench, like watching a game, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, man, I just want to get in there and get the green light, and like I know I can make these shots and like make something happen?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. I'm sure it happens to a lot of players, or a lot of freshmen around the country. It has happened. You just really want to get out there, and you feel like you can give more to your team. So, I feel like that a lot of times, but. I just know my time is coming. When I get in, I do all that I can. I play hard on both sides of the ball. So,
how important is the reserves in general for this team? Do you think, now that you're going to get into Mountain West play pretty soon and start playing more regularly, how important is it going to be for the bench guys and the reserves to sort of play that role and give this team some good minutes?
We could go really deep into our depth chart. I feel like, we got some good guys that come off the bench with me. I think they could get some valuable minutes, to some of the starter guys. I know them guys are itching to get out there, to help the team. Really just, get some valuable time, contribute to the wins, whether not necessarily in the game or just on the bench clapping for our teammates. So, yeah.
How important is it to finish strong this non-conference going into the break?
I think it's real important. Being that, it's just these games right now, I feel like are like confidence boosters, to help us, and also sharpen up on some of the things that we weren't as good at through the couple games beforehand, So it allows us, to get time right now, to, fix up all the little marks and stuff that we have made, and, get going to conference, with a winning streak, basically, pretty much. Yeah.
How do you feel? Where do you feel you are now in terms of the season? Do you feel like you're in the swing of things now? And do you feel like you're in a good place and you're contributing to the team?
Yeah, I think I feel like I'm contributing, but I feel like I can work and do much more than what I'm doing right now, because it's never enough what you're doing. Like, you gotta just try to get better every day, and help your team the best we can.
Do the coaches have a plan for you where they expect you to do certain things when you get out there? Like, what do you think they expect of you when they put you in the game?
I think they expect me. Yeah, that's the word. Sorry. They expect me when I play to bring energy, like to give everything I have on defense, on offense. Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for me to do.
In the bench in general, in the reserves, like you and Amauri and Tervel and Anthony Smith, like, how important is it for you guys as a group to play well and sort of give this team some good minutes going forward the rest of the year?
Oh yeah, it's like really important for us to play good, because we're starting 5. Sometimes they can be tired. Sometimes they can be on foul trouble and everything. So we gotta be ready to just get in and give our best and do the best we can to help the team to win.
Check, how important is it to finish strong this week going into the break?
Yeah, that's really important, because us finishing strong this week, going to a break, it's just gonna keep us maintaining the confidence we have in ourselves. So like, if we finish strong right now, we're gonna be like really confident coming off a break and keep doing what we do and keep getting better.
For that group that I mentioned, those reserves and the bench unit, do you guys have like a sense of like camaraderie, or you root for each other, or when you guys play a good stretch, you come off feeling like, hey, we really did something, and do you feel like that group is sort of bonding a little bit?
Can you repeat your question again?
Do you feel like the bench, you and Amauri and Anthony and Tervel Beck, are you guys like bonding at all as like a, like this is our job, we have to go in, we know what we're doing? And...
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the good thing about the team. Like every time coach say, like nobody really care about playing much or not. We are ready on the bench. Like every time we get the chance to get in, we are ready to do what we have to do, and we always are together. Like nobody get like frustrated about anything. Like we just cheering for each other. Just be ready to get in and do whatever coach asks you to do. Like whenever you play.